with all of the moves that the Sabres have made, I guess two questions. One, do you think they're done with any kind of major move? Like, who knows? I've even heard people say, look, Byram could still be traded this summer. I don't think that's likely. I think at earliest it would be sometime in the first like 30-ish games in the season. But I don't see that happening this offseason. So one, do you think they're done? And two, have they gotten anywhere close to making up? How many points were they out of the playoffs? Was it around 12? Do you think they made up 12 points in the standings? Yes, we talked last episode about hope for a lot of guys and hoping that they don't go on an 18-game losing streak. But those two questions: one, do you think they're done? And two, do you think they've made up any ground from where they were last year?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the forward group is that I don't really know exactly if they've gotten better. And I talked about this yesterday a little bit, just in terms of like how we're always kind of looking at these charts for like these depth guys like Josh Doan, guys like Connor Timmins, and it's like, oh, they have good defensive results and they're playing like very soft, like, third pair, fourth line minutes. I mean, I know Timmins got some opportunities at Pittsburgh later on in the year, but he wasn't really a guy holding on to a top four role the entire season. So I think that kind of applies to the forward group too. Like, sure, like they improve, like on the charts, they're better defensively, but how much has that meant in the Sabres system? It seems like we get guys who have, good charts defensively, and then they're thrown into weird situations, or you have like two forwards get hurt, and then they're tossed into a role where they have to scale up their game way too quickly and they struggle in it. So I think that's kind of the thing where, I think it's where a lot of Sabres fans are at too, where they're like, sure, I could see a lot of blue on these charts with some of these depth guys they acquired, but really how much does it mean on a Tuesday in February against the Blue Jackets when you're coming off a 5-2 loss and you're below 500 on the season? Like I just feel like being in Buffalo does something to you. And that forward group, I think losing Paterka, I think they lose a good chunk of talent, particularly scoring talent. I think Kulik, he does have great potential as a scorer. I do think he can take that next step. And Tage is obviously one of the best 5-on-5 scorers in the league. He was the best 5-on-5 scorer in the league by far last season. So there is still some talent there, but I think it's just such a different thing from where this team was at in 22-23, where we're kind of looking at an embarrassment of riches in that forward group. They're like, we have Tuck, Tage, Skinner as a top line. Then the second line, we have Cousins, Paterka, Quinn. And then, who even cares about the third line? Just acquire like some cheap guys in the offseason and fill out that role of grinders. But, looking at their roster now, and I know a lot of people just point to their 5-on-5 goal totals last year, but I think they're going to miss a lot of offense this season, because I don't think Tage is going to score at the same rate as he did last year. Like, sure, he'll still score a ton of goals, but he was on an absolute tear last season, like a tear where you have to make it to the playoffs if your top player's on a tear like he was last year. And same thing with Paterka. So I think some of the offense is going to dry up a bit, and I don't think the Sabres are prepared to make up for it defensively, because they're just not built like a New York Islanders team or just a team that could grind their way into the playoffs.